We will control the vertical.
Welcome to this episode of Anthologic with Host Mark. Today I'm talking about a TV series, horror, but for children, called Goosebumps. Now this is based on the books of R.L. Stine, and in fact R.L. Stine actually presents the episode we're going to talk about. He does the intro and outro for it. Now this ran for 4 seasons, 74 episodes in all. First aired October the 27th, 1995, just before Halloween. And the one I'm going to talk about tonight is the very first 2 episodes. It was a 2-parter that aired on that date, just before Halloween. And it went on right through until November the 16th, 1998. So, what's that? About 3 years. Yeah, about 3 years in all, but four seasons, 74 episodes. Quite a popular show, I understand. I've talked to some of my American friends who think of it fondly. As far as I know, it was never that big in the UK. It did air here in various ways, but it was never really on my radar. I think it came after... well after my glory days, but before my children would have been old enough to see it, so it was not something I ever encountered, though I do, as I say, I believed it appeared on children's BBC for some time, and it was on Netflix for quite a while, I believe. Right, so I have to say the intro was kind of quite cool, and I've seen this is the very first watch for me. And I actually, as I was watching the opening credits, I was thinking, I've seen that picture before. Those pictures are reused in like memes and stuff, or little posts here and there. Some of the imagery from the intro, so that was kind of fun, and I kind of liked it. Now this one, the one we're talking about tonight, was a 2-parter called The Haunted Mask, based on apparently on Goosebumps number 11. So later on in the R.L. Stine canon, but he's written loads, so so there we go. Basically, it's about a little girl called Carly Beth Caldwell who wants to get a good Halloween mask. She's bothered a bit by a slight minor bullies, let's put it that way. At one point they kind of trick her into trying to be her friend, but trick her into eating a sandwich with a worm in it, for example, and she's really upset with them. However, she has got a mask, but it gets wrecked, and she needs to go find another one. She goes to the store. She wants a specific mask she's seen, but the store owner has all these weird masks that she's seen at the back, and he won't sell them. And what she does is she grabs one and throws the money on the table, saying, "Here we go," and runs off with it. Puts it on. Now, this is where weird things start happening. The mask kind of gets stuck and she can't get out of it. And I have to say, it's a brilliant mask. And overall, this is brilliant makeup. She does finally get off, but when she puts it on again, it starts to not only become unremovable, it kind of takes her over and she becomes a different kind of person entirely. Carly Beth starts acting completely out of character, scaring little kids. She doesn't even know, stuff like that, and she goes out on Halloween with her brother. She also as the episode goes, she carries a little totem of herself without the mask, like a little doll thing, which is weird. And she realises the mask has to come off, but there doesn't seem to be any way of getting it off, and it gets worse and worse. She does manage to scare the bullies quite well, which is kind of cool. When she goes back to the mask to talk to the shop owner to try and get it off, and he explains, no, that's your real face. You can only do that with love. Get rid of it with love. And then she kind of screams out, but the other masks kind of come away. This is a bit goofy, the effect on here. The other masks come away and kind of start floating towards her and chasing her. It is kind of silly. She finds a mould of her. She's got rid of a mould of her own face, but she manages to find it, and somehow that scares off the other masks, and then lets her makes this one that's stuck to her head less stuck. Let's put it that way. She's able to get it home, and she all relieved, right? I have to say the makeup of this mask was really, really cool. It looked really good. I really like the makeup here. It was very enjoyable to sort of see that. In many ways, it felt like a junior version of Tales from the Crypt to me. So I kind of liked it from that respect. Clearly for children, Tales from the Crypt can be fairly adult in tone, but the look and the feel was very, very much that. It was considered quite highly when it first landed. Lots of people liked it, and there was a sequel episode called The Haunted Mask 2, and I think that aired in 1996. A year and a bit later. So in that one, there's it's about a costume with an old a mask with an old man who's got spiders in his hair. So there's kind of freaky stuff in that. I understand, I haven't seen it, so I can't be sure. The little girl who played Carly Beth was very good, I have to say. I was quite impressed with her. This was directed by Timothy Bond and written by Jose Rivera, or adapted by Jose Rivera. So I'm just trying to see if they add any other movies between them, any other episodes between them. Can't see their names. However, I thought it was quite well delivered, and as I say, it was introduced by R.L. Stine himself. Obviously not an actor, but this is a thing. You often see it with authors or men, creative. Alfred Hitchcock Presents is a classic, and before that, Boris Karloff's Thriller. And, we got Roald Dahl's Tales of the Unexpected. And, of course, we know the great Rod Serling and his stuff. But it was kind of cool to see R.L. Stine sort of present this stuff. This series, Goosebumps, is not something I'm that familiar with. I think it's massive in American circles, though. I do remember seeing the movie that came out in, I think, 2015. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good movie. And I understand that adapted several of his stories and sort of merged them into one narrative. But that was quite a successful film. Very, very reminds you of, I don't know, It or things like that. Stephen King-y kind of stuff, 80s stuff. It was kind of a fun movie, Goosebumps. And I believe there's a Goosebumps 2 movie out too, but I haven't seen that, so I can't comment. Yeah, but I have to say The Haunted Mask was a standout. Goosebumps was kind of fun. Older children fare, really. I'd say sort of 8, 9 upwards would be fine with this kind of thing, and it was kind of fun to watch. And also, it's potentially a gateway drug for horror, so there's always that plus about it. Anyway, I'm going to wind it up there, but before I go, may I ask, is anybody out there?
Bueno.
We now return control of your television set to you until next week at this same time, when the control voice will take you to